Monday of the football season, which means we have rankings this time with Class 5A. And yet again, we got a video for all 7 classes on our YouTube channel, so be sure to go check out the rankings from all 7 classes. But without further ado, let's get right into Class 5A, starting with 16 through 11. 16 Pleasant Valley. They were number 8 last week. They fell to Bettendorf. Speaking of Bettendorf, at that 15 spot, they beat PV 30-10, an impressive victory that we definitely took note of, and kudos to the Bulldogs over in Bettendorf. At number 14, Waukee Northwest. They were 13 last week. They'll drop a spot, but they really gave a test. The number 2 Johnson, they lost 23-17. Again, they gave the Dragons everything they could handle. Made that one super close, but Johnson pulled it out in the end. Number 13, Iowa City West, a really impressive victory over Liberty, who was making their Class 5A debut. West is a team to look out for, and they get a nice 7-point victory in Week 1, and they'll vault themselves up a spot into that 13 slot. At number 12, City High, they were 10th last week. They took on the challenge of facing a powerhouse from another state, so I'm giving a lot of credit to them. They lost to Joliet Catholic, but they'll drop a few spots, but without a doubt they're going to get right back on track. And just want to take a moment again and just compliment them for trying something that not a lot of other teams would want to do. So shout out Iowa City High as they hold down number 12 this week. Waukee, they move up a spot. They had a nice victory over Ames, 35-7, a team that a lot of people are kind of talking about with Baker at quarterback, at the sophomore. He's going to be the leader of the Warriors for the next few years, and we're kind of getting a glimpse into what those future years could look like with an impressive win in Week 1 against Ames. Now hopping into the top 10. At number 10, Cedar Falls, they were the number 5 team last week. Kind of lost a heartbreaker to Prairie, and so they'll drop 5 spots, but they now get a returning semifinalist Johnson at home. So a good chance for Cedar Falls and the Tigers to really get a bounce back victory and make a statement against a top 2 team in Class 5A. At number 9 and number 8, 2 teams that squared off with each other last week, Centennial and Ankeny. Ankeny obviously got that double overtime win, but again, it's just another chapter in what is already an incredible rivalry. And Ankeny coming back from down 17-0 in the first quarter to win that game by 1, obviously going for 2 in double overtime. Tons of plays in that game, could have gone either way, and those teams are going to be kind of battling for pole position all year long. So Ankeny gets the kind of head-to-head decider in Week 1, and so they'll vault themselves into the 8th spot. At number 7, Kennedy, they lost to Dowling Catholic in Week 1. Not a bad loss at all. Again, they looked impressive. I was there watching them. I was impressed. Dowling was just a little too much to handle towards the end, but Kennedy kept it close for most of the way, and they're going to get a chance to get back on track against PV, the number 16 team in Class 5A. So another test for the Cougars right away. At number 6, Prairie, probably the team of the week in Class 5A, and our Class 5A ranker even admitted he kind of overlooked them before Week 1, but they're becoming a mainstay as a top 10 program in 5A. Obviously, they get a huge win against Cedar Falls, who was number 5 in Class 5A, and they almost trade spots with them. So, but Prairie's going to get a nice tune-up game with Dubuque Senior before they get the big dog Southeast Polk in a few weeks. So looking forward to that one. But let's hop into the top 5. At number 5, Linn-Mar. Linn-Mar was number 9 last week, so they make a pretty good jump up 4 spots. They dominated Dubuque Senior to open the season, and they're looking to continue building on their 6-win season a year ago. So Linn-Mar is the first new team to enter the top 5 in Class 5A. At number 4, Valley. Again, not a bad loss. They lost to defending state champions in a tight game. They did lose Zay Robinson, one of the better players in the entire state, a 3-star wide receiver. They lose him for the season with a shoulder injury, so kind of a tough pill to swallow in Week 1, and hoping Zay can recover and get back to full health for his senior year next year at Valley, but they're going to go the rest of the way without him. But they're going to hold down the number 4 spot, and they got plenty of talent still on that team to be a contender in Class 5A. At number 3, Dowling Catholic. They beat, again, like we said, beat a very solid Cedar Rapids Kennedy squad 38-21, and Rashad Davis really just etched his name as a player to look out for the rest of this year. He had 5 touchdowns for Dowling Catholic in that win on the road against Kennedy, and we got a 3-4 matchup in Class 5A this week, and if Ankeny Centennial isn't the biggest rivalry in the state, it's going to be Dowling and Valley, and those two are going to square off this week and again write another chapter of that rivalry. So looking forward to that one. At number 2, Johnson holding down the number 2 spot, same spot they were at last week. They beat Waukee Northwest 23-17. Again, a tight game, as most of the Class 5A CIML matchups are. They're going to get to play Cedar Falls, who's really coming off that tough loss to Prairie. Cedar Falls is going to be looking to make a statement, and Johnson is going to have another game with their hands full in week 2. Holding down the number 1 spot. No surprise here, Southeast Polk. They won the state title rematch 24-18 over Valley. Moberly and Robbins picked up right where they left off. Those two are going to be a tough duo to stop this year, and again they're picking up right where they left off, and they're looking to keep the train rolling this week yet again. So Southeast Polk holds down the number 1 spot. Johnson holds down the number 2 spot. Not a ton of movement here in the top 4 for Class 5A, and but yeah, that's all we have for the Class 5A rankings. Advise you to go ahead and subscribe to IA Sports on YouTube. We're going to be looking on bringing you guys content all year long. Obviously, IA Football on all socials. And we look forward to seeing you guys next week for next week's rankings.